to be able to understand, first of all, the journey of being able to handle things with one through. So I won't ask some generic questions. Please tell us about your business, each one of you. Tell us about your business, what inspired your business, and in addition to that, what field you work in. Because we may use to work with some people, they don't know you yet. So tell us who you are, what your business is, and what inspired you to start. I'll start with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. You all look lovely. Can you please turn and tell your neighbor that you are looking beautiful? It really looks nice, I guess. It really looks amazing up here. Well, my name is Marina Kamanzi. I'm the founder and managing director for Agribusiness company. In another role, I'm a lawyer by profession. I hold an MBA. I've done a lot of for the certificate in agribusiness, and I've done a lot of incubation programs. I'm also a civil servant. Agribusiness is a seed company. I founded it in 2021. We bias towards drought-tolerant, underutilized crops. So we do sorghum, millet, cowpeas, sunflower, sesame seed. We now have wheat, grain-fed wheat. So I was talking to a colleague over lunch, like, I wonder why small-scale farmers don't go into wheat. So we now have a variety called Nene, which is a grain-fed wheat. So those who are interested to grow, you can grow it and we'll link you to the market. I think that's very.
Good afternoon, ladies and the gentlemen with us. You look lovely, you look beautiful. My name is Agribusiness. I'm the CEO and founder of Namoi Chilies. In a nutshell, Namoi is a story of a business that came out of the kitchen. I'm a farmer by passion, but then at one time I said, you know what? Every time I'll do my papers, my tomatoes, they will get spoiled because they have the chilies. I'll also do the chilies. So the chilies will be the first to get spoiled because they had, a very short shelf life, for those that are familiar with fresh chilies. So one day I'm like, what am I going to do? And that's how the journey began in the kitchen. So I started experimenting with the sauces, with the pickles, with the flakes. I'll give my riblets, would you just try and test? So, and that's how the journey began in 2020. We've been in existence for 5 years now. Originally from Cabo, we just relocated to Lusaka a few months ago due to demand. Looks like Lusaka is happening. Yeah, so currently we are a team of about 6 people, and we are currently in about 50 stores countrywide. We are supplying all shopping stores countrywide, and Vanessa as well, and some other shops here and there. Yeah, so that is Namoi, and we'll definitely share more as we continue to discuss it. Thank you. Let me stand up. Good afternoon. I hope you all enjoyed your lunch. How many here are women? How many of us are women here? How many of us are farmers? You are in the right place. And how many of us are thinking of farming, but we have not started ever since we started thinking about it? You are also in the right place. So this journey of mine, the hustle,
started way back. In nursing school, as a student, I was selling anything and everything to my colleagues. They nicknamed me Kanamakwebo. But behind that Kanamakwebo, I was saving money, little by little, like my late mother would say, patoto patoto nitolo. Ladies, by the time I graduated from nursing school, I had saved the 10,000 kwacha. That 10,000 kwacha was the start of my journey. I came home. Most of my friends went into voluntary work. You know, the government wasn't employing at the time. So most of my friends went to volunteer. But I couldn't afford to volunteer because I was already a single mother at the time. And I had an obligation to take care of my son and myself. Remember, I had left that child with my mother for 3 more years. Now I was back. And I needed to provide for the boy. So with that 10,000 kwacha, I used an already existing structure at my mother's house and started a poultry business. I started with 200 beds, just 200 beds. And God smiled upon me and that business grew up to 2,000 beds. Later, I was in the government and I started now to look for where I could farm bigger because now we're looking at 2,000 beds. And that's how I landed in the farms where I'm now operating. Other things, you have land, you have water. So in my quest for knowledge, in my quest to find where I can source seedlings or seed, I landed on Makeni Seedlings. And that's how my journey of horticulture began. They embraced me, they guided me. I planted my first heads of cabbages, Majesty F1 by Seedco, and they guided me through the process. And that's how my horticulture journey started. So standing before you this afternoon, ladies, I'm Pingiwe, the nurse farmer. I'm a nurse and a farmer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again. I was just whispering to our host that our path is what I can explain in a minute. So I beg her to allow me to explain it. I'll start by telling you that in February, a few days after my brother died, my only brother, we were grieving. Sorry, my voice is shaking. I haven't even got to talk about it without that yet. And you know, I got into a place of prayer because that's the only thing we know how to do as a family. After that prayer session at 1 a.m., I went to bed. I woke up in the morning, I told my mother, I said, God told me I shall be speaking at a conference in September. 3 days later, I got a phone call from Inota inviting me to speak today. So I do not know how to tell you of this story in 2 minutes because the Lord has been gracious. I will not stand for a long time. I will sit so that I introduce myself well. My full names are Wanda Nene Chinakulam, fourth-born daughter in a family of 5. I am founder of the Faneni Livestock Sanctuary. It is more than just business for us, it's a lifestyle. But we officially started operating it as a business in 2020 to 2021, thereabouts. Professionally, I'm a teacher. I'm a trained early childhood teacher. Then I branched off and went on to study special education needs. Masaka, that kind of arrangement. I'm sorry, I should have prepared this slide for you to see what our original courthouse looked like when we started. Yeah, so that is what she did. And in the rain season, sometimes it would rain so heavily that it was not possible for the animals to stay in that courthouse. So we moved them to the living room. The goats, the sheep would be in the living room. In the morning, no, they go away like that. But even with that kind of background, we started growing. Then one day, we got a very big order. I think that was our first huge order. Again, I had been petitioning, I had been praying, I had been asking God for growth. I didn't know how, I didn't know what I wanted. I just said I want to grow, but I can't be specific in this prayer to say this is what I want, because I don't really have a vision for this thing, but I want to grow. So we got an order for 1,000 local goats, and we didn't know where to find them. But we said, he that began a good work shall surely accomplish it. There is no way God gives us what we cannot handle. We knew it was going to come. So the moment that came, remember Mom owns a piece of land in Assisi, which is now the Livestock Sanctuary Farm. So I asked her, can I use this piece of land? She said, yes, that's okay. So we quickly moved in because the client paid and paid everything. So we quickly moved in, fixed up Santa halls, the builder workers' houses, and everything that we needed, and still have enough money to still bring in the clients' animals and complete that particular order. It was easy for me to do sales or to do marketing because of the kind of background that I have. I listened to the young girl talk about selling chips. I should mention, when we were voting the last time that we voted during the general elections, we were selling chips and ice creams and fritters outside the polling center with my sisters. We did not have this business yet. It was just in its infancy. It was still growing. So we were selling those ice creams. And growing up, we did that quite a lot because we grew up poor. So we sold ice creams, we sold salawola, we sold chips. We sold everything, we sold chinchons, whatever we could make, whatever we could lay our hands on. Mom would travel to Makonde to bring rice, to bring cooking oil, and the moment she gets there, the people would never and we would sell. We would come to the Chinese center on British Road to order mushroom, we would order the mushroom and we would go round zones to teachers and we would sell. So I have always been a salesperson. What looked like was poverty growing up was actually a training for a moment is great for us. And we thank God for it. So the Livestock Sanctuary was founded that way. And ever since then, we have seen a steady growth in our numbers with our clientele. We have seen a steady growth with the connections to a point where we can now gladly say our selling capacity with goats stands at 2,000 per month. And our selling capacity with cattle stands at 500 per month. Yes, please come. We moved from a place where we tell a client we'll supply in 2 days to a place where we can comfortably tell you we are sorry we cannot be supplying in 3 months because we are booked. We have grown that much. With the smoked foods we haven't stopped. Our smoking capacity now moved from 3 to 4 pieces of fish to 1,000 kgs per day. Thank you. So with our partners, we are offering it as a service to some of our partners that unfortunately we cannot disclose because that is what our contracts say. when they deliver the 1,000 kgs to us at 14, they will pick it up tomorrow at 6 o'clock and it will be done. We work through the night, so we're smoking every single day. And that also is for chickens. We can smoke 2,000 birds in 24 hours. That is how our capacity has grown. And that is a little about who we are as the livestock sanctuary on the small food end and on the animal end as well.
Just for the sound engineers to just assist us with our mics. Now that's interesting. We have to admit that's really interesting, listening to how these different businesses were birthed, right? Are we here? Are we still here with them? Are we listening in to how amazing this is? Now I have a question. I'll start with Madam Sawani. You are in a business where you've shared with us that your products, as we can see, you've displayed here, your products are in some stores, and that's very beautiful packaging. And I know there's so many women just like me who are interested in understanding where exactly, how exactly do we get to that stage. But also, I remember during lunch, I hope for everyone you had the chance to make break. During lunch, I was speaking to an amazing woman. And she's telling me about how she's into vegetables. And she's saying, sometimes the market gets saturated. And what do you do with this vegetable? Now, how do you think adding value to local crops? I'll give an example of tomato, right? Or food helps farmers and small businesses do better. How does value addition assist in addition to you just being able to supply the vegetables once they're ready? Wow.
As simple as it sounds, but it's a big question. Can I stand? Sorry, sometimes I think standing helps so that the energy just comes out. There's always one thing that I always say. If you think about failure, and you fail, it's your fault. Amen? In life, it's all about purpose. Why are we here? Is it a coincidence that she, entrepreneur, is holding this conference? Is it by a coincidence that you're sitting next to the lady that you're sitting to on the left or on the right? Is it a coincidence that you're here today? Is it a coincidence that you have all these exhibitors that have come to display today? So for Namai to reach to where we are now, it's because of such. It's because of networking. We've heard about networking being your net worth, right? As Makwero people, we do meet like the way we meet here. I'll give you an example. I'm familiar with my friends. There's teenage farms, they're just displaying there. Every time we meet, to be like, how did you get this sticker done? Where did you get this thing? Where did you get that? Where did you get that? So by meeting and sharing information is what leads to such. No man is an island. That's why as women, we get together. This is an opportunity to sit and network. And I hope that we've spoken to more than 30 people in this room. This issue of sitting with the people that should come with is not good. So the more we mingle, the more we give each other information and the more we build our brand. I'll tell you about value addition, coming to the second point. That's how I've managed. It's because of networking with my fellow SMEs out there in the field. We do meet, we communicate, we work, and most importantly also research. And here's the thing, ladies, especially those that are going into value addition, packaging will be your trademark. There are a lot of players out The market is getting saturated with all the products that you can think of, whether it's beauty, whether it's food, whichever, it's getting there. But then the question should be, how do you stand out? What will define you? What, even when you're in a shelf in a shop, why will you go and choose Namai chilies instead of that other brand? Especially if you're a chili fan. I'm talking about chili because that's my kids. So what will make you stand out? So as we go to value addition, packaging will make you stand out there. So for me, I'll be very honest. For me, when I work in every shop, I always look at the shelf, and if I see a bottle with this red seal, without this red seal on top, then I'll say, I know if someone sees my red seal, they'll buy it. No one who does it. You see what I mean? So it defines you, it distinguishes you, it separates you from the already existing product. That's why value addition, as you do your value addition, packaging, branding is very, very, very key. So the value addition that you do is your identity. Like I mentioned before, it's your identity. So even rape, you mentioned rape. I'll give you a very good example of rape itself. Those that have seen, those that have gone to other supermarkets, there's rape with the cassava type rounds. There's rape with the elastic. Have you seen that? You've seen that? In other supermarkets, there's rape, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just mentioning some supermarkets. You find rape with a tape around it, branded. Have you seen that? So if me, I'm going in the shop and I want to buy a rape, which rape do you think I'm going to get? The branded one, because the branded one is you. So if I go and pick a rape that I know, let's say is Chama Foods, for example, I'll go, Chama Foods is the one that produces this. Somebody gets it. The rape without the identity, I don't trust it. And when you go out there in business, especially in value addition business, in value addition business, it's the identity. The identity will make your customers to trust your products and they'll buy it. That's how it is. So even when it comes to issues of value addition, why? That's the last part now I'm getting to. Why value addition? Because value addition gives you time. It prolongs your product. Chaza had okra. I don't know, did anyone interact with Chaza? She had okra there. She was selling okra, pounded okra mixed with groundnuts and chili. All of us know how long okra can stay when you pack it out. 3 days. If it's in a banana plastic, 1 day, she has. But she dries it. When you dry it, you do your additions, you do your innovations. It can stay for over a year. This chili that you see here can go 1 year, 6 months. Before, I would struggle because it would take me 3 to 4 days. So one, it gives you life. I know most of you say, no, it's money, money, money. First, I'm talking about life, time, which is something that we cannot control, but it's something that we need. And remember, the more time you have, the more value your product will have. So, today, I made this chili. I'll send it at 25 quarter. This chili takes 1 year, 6 months shelf life, 1 year and a half months to expire, right? In 6 months, though like a way, you will not find this my chili at 25 quarter. The market dynamics will not allow me to do that, isn't it? My price will do what? Will go up. So the time I'm talking about also has a money aspect to it. I hope you're getting me on this one. You get it, right? The more time you have, the value goes up. Now I'll talk about the money that we are all expecting. Yes, it brings out money. The value that you create out of that product will give you that finance that you need. I'll give you, last time I was privileged to be in another meeting where we were talking about maize, and then I was asked about the agriculture show. Oh, somebody, are you going to be showcasing at the agriculture show? I said, yes. Okay, what are you bringing? I said, I'm bringing chili. Chili? I said, yes. So how is chili going to help our farmers? I said, okay, how much is a kg of maize right now? How much is a kg of maize? Huh? A kg? Huh? 6 quarter 18 weight. No, I want the maize.
Yes.
1 kg. 6 quarter. What of 6 quarter 18 weight? Do you know how much a kg of dry chili costs? Huh? Sorry? I'm hearing amounts, but I'm hearing a no. Huh? You have no idea? Okay, I'll tell you. Sorry, for me, this is how I talk. I like to be practical so that you get the practicality of what I'm trying to say. Right now, 1 kg of dry chili, if you find it at 45 kwacha, my current price now is 65, depending on how well it's dried. Sometimes it will be 55, sometimes it will be 50. Now you can imagine. Then where is the money? Huh? You see what I mean? So everyone was asked to say, what are you bringing? I said, I'm bringing chili. Is it raw chili? I said, no, I'm not going to bring raw chili. Because if I brought my raw chili, 1 kg was only going to cost me what? It was going to cost me 40 or 50 kwacha. I'm bringing processed chili. In that 1 kg of processed chili, I'll make more than 10 times the value if I bring a processed chili. If I add value in my chili. There's ginger, there's garlic, bueno, nicely made with love. And that is the money that we get. So ladies and gentlemen, sorry I'm taking a bit more time. It's just that it's my passion when it comes to value addition. And I've seen the benefits, and this is what I always say on my pages. In my TikTok, Namoy Chili's, Facebook, Namoy Chili's, Instagram, Namoy Chili's, especially on my TikTok, I love talking about business and value addition. Women, it's our time. It's our time, whether you are going into the beauty sector, the food sector, think about adding value to that product that you are doing. Let us not stay on the raw material level. Let us not think about, oh yes, I'm going to take to Kasumbalesa, I'm going to take to Soweto, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. No. Add value and see what is happening there. We have a lot of SMEs that are creating employment just by value addition. And you know, value addition is a chain. So I don't grow my chilies. And that's the reason why I would really love to be here, because I was looking for people to grow. I am looking for people to grow me the chilies, because my outgrower, the capacity is still low, and now I have demand. So I'm trying to build up my supply chain. So it's a chain, like it's in the value chain. We start from the farmer. Me, I'll go and buy my chili from a farmer. I process it, I take it to the supermarket. So it goes on like that. It goes up like that. So this is, if I don't get an opportunity to talk about value addition, please remember that there was that one skinny lady who talked about value addition. And I'm always available. You find me on all my social platforms. Let's talk about value addition. Let's stop the raw materials. Let's build Zambia. Let's build a brand. I always say that for Namai, our goal is to be every Zambian's first choice when it comes to chili. That is what we want. Even if we go out there, it will be, oh, that brand is from Zambia. And that's what we want. We want a lot of Zambian local products out there on the market. Thank you.
All right. I will now pose the next question to Marina from Agribusiness. What are some of the challenges in your journey that you observed women experience experience in regards to accessing funding, resources, and just being able to establish themselves in the agricultural industry?
Thank you so much for that question. Funding is the biggest challenges that any business, startup, at idea stage, upscaling, funding is always a problem. But one of the things that I have identified, so after lunch, I just called a beautiful young lady who is a medical student within here, and she's a poultry farmer. And I interacted with her. She showed me her brand. She packages her chickens, her eggs, beautifully looking. And then I asked her a question, is your business registered? She said, no, it's not. I said, that is the beginning of the problem. So we all have to have our business registered. Once we register our businesses, we open bank accounts. Because when you want to go and approach a bank or when they are funding, they will always ask you for your audited accounts. It's not magic, okay? It's not something difficult, it can be done. Just start from the word go. The little you make, even if it's a 5 kwacha, a 20 kwacha, just deposit it there. Have a bank account which shows that you are trading, or to show that you are running a proper business. And get these accountants to do your audited accounts. It's not also something which is difficult. You see, when a lot of people, we like using these big words, and we get lost in the big words. You know, people will be telling, like, I heard someone, the young girl talking about a pitch deck, okay? A pitch, yeah, it's a name, it's a pitch deck, but you can also do it. It's what you tell someone when you're trying to tell someone, this is what I do, so I do it like this, and this is what I do. That's what a pitch deck pretty much is, but it's put in a certain format. Okay. So let us formalize our businesses. Let's ensure that whatever we make, we bank it. I know there's now Airtel money. In the habit, no, put in my Airtel money and you forget to remove it. When you go to the bank, they tell you to say, you do business, yes. And yes, you do business. And yes, you make money. They'll ask you, can you show us? Airtel money. No. Let's make sure that we formalize our businesses very well. So, just a little bit to divert. I started doing business when I was at law school, Unza. Early in the morning, I've done chickens, I've done layers. I used to supply pork to Zambia. I used to supply milk at Varuni beverages. I've gone through all of this. Before that, my business was not also registered. Okay? And when I approached the bank, that's when I got to learn this. Because then I'm making money, I need some working capital and all this. I used to speak English, but when you go to the bank, you don't have these papers, you know. Even when you approach any funder, you go to GIZ, they were there, and all these other non-government organizations, you tell them, you write your concept note, it makes sense, where your audited accounts, nothing. It doesn't help. Okay, so let us learn to familiarize our businesses, and also let us learn to interact with people. In the farming sector, I've found a lot of people interact and they give free information. People are always free to give information. We're hearing from CIDCO, they've got webinars, they've got these things for teaching farmers. There are different things happening online, you know. Let's go out there, put ourselves there and do these things. Once we formalize our businesses, then we can get going to approach this. When I started Kagezi Seed, I was part of 3 village banking groups. Mrs. Musoka is one, our guest of honor. I was in one village group with her. And when I was borrowing money, I was telling the people I'm going to start a business. They were there. When I made my first sales, I told the group I was in the same group with her. And everywhere she goes, she's always, no, there's this young girl, this. So I am still part of village banking groups. And I still borrow money, and I use that as part of my capital and startup. Capital to do all these things. So there are different funding opportunities out there. You can also do crowdfunding in families. Okay? You can also put together as a group. You can also register like a cooperative as women who put together money. Start small. Don't think big. Just start small, use your small safe. Aside village banking, I also use my salary from the government then. I'm now on unpaid leave because it's getting busy at Kagezi and I've decided to concentrate there. So I used to get my salary and I used to get from village banking and just here and there we go for my father, we go for my husband and all this and all that until where we are today. So let's start small before we think big. And let us keep a trail of our expenses, of our income, and let us get the bank accounts open and just keep track. That is very important for you to reach a stage where you can approach bigger organizations that can fund you. Thank you.
Me, I'm a farmer. I'm always on the farming government. Now today, at where I'm graduate. Okay, so I just want to highlight on some of the pointers that Madame was mentioning, talking about challenges that us women face in farming. I just want to share 3 pointers that I was just listing down. Of course, number 1 being the issue of sourcing from loan institutions. As young farmers wanting to go into farming, the number 1 challenge that we face is collateral. Not having enough collateral to source those funds, isn't it? You need to have resources, either land, houses, buildings, for you to access some of these loans. And that's number 1, we do not have those things to start up. So one of the things that has helped me in my journey is to multiply my incomes. Okay? As a startup, don't rely on one source of income. Remember that mentality I had in nursing school? I've carried it even in farming. I don't just do poultry and horticulture vegetables. I've diversified even into fire blocks. For those that have experienced, fire blocks are an alternative energy source away from electricity. Okay? I've been able to provide fire blocks to fellow farmers. That's another income that helps to support some of the farming activities that I do. Another business that I also embarked on was money lending at a small scale. You don't need much, even a 5,000 kwacha, you start. With interest. Okay? You help other people who need money. You become like a financial institution yourself. 1 bill, 30% interest in 30 days, 20% interest in 2 weeks. That has helped me to mitigate some of these challenges. Okay? Then the other part where you talk of markets, I will go back to what Katene from Sitco mentioned, market research. The challenge of market comes in because I've had experiences, like she said, where you plant something before knowing your market, before knowing what variety, when to plant it, okay, what the market requires, what sizes, what. So you plant and then you harvest, and it's challenging. So to mitigate that challenge, do market research. Knowledge is power. Those that follow me, you will see that I do a lot of demo field. Those demo fields are my ways of learning crops, slowly and in a smaller portion. I do 3-4 beds of onion. From that demo field, I'll learn fertilization program, how to plant it, when to plant it, how to water it, what diseases, how to treat, how to prevent. Before I do it on a larger scale. While I'm doing that, I also visit the market, speak to the marketeers. What do they prefer? Because those are our bosses as farmers. Without the marketeer, we can't farm because we have nowhere to take those produce. So I visit the market and ask them, Muma orders that. Mukonda ya kwanji, my sizes ya mene mukonda niati. Mukonda iti ya red or ya white. They give me that information. So I plan better. better like that. So I thought maybe I would share some of those challenges and how I have mitigated some of them as we given the next one. Thank you.
It's amazing that you actually went on to explain some of the challenges that you experienced women as when it comes to funding. It's interesting that you, when I went to what they spoke about Marina and here, we have an understanding that money has to be in existence and it has to be used in lump sum because we're looking at it accounting is very expensive. So to give this solution and option, I think it's very insightful for women to hear. But I know that these are not the only challenges that we face as women. And I will pose this as an open question by starting with you. As women, and I know I asked, saying how many mothers are here? Each and every one of you has explained that this is a part of what you do. There's other parts that are so demanding and you must do. Could you share with us other challenges that may make it difficult to be able to function as a woman in agribusiness and how to mitigate those challenges? I'll give an example of one. Just the challenge of being a mom. Take for instance, your children need you to be there, and at the same time your business demands you to be there. How do you mitigate that challenge?
Thank you. So the first one was obviously given by you. Being a mother itself can be very challenging. The second one would be the issue of employment. For most of us here are in formal employment. So to find a balance between managing a job as well can be quite challenging. And it is not practical to quit your job to get into a business when you don't feel established yet. I don't quite agree, but then that is the challenge that many people face. It is quite difficult for them to just find that balance between work and running a business. But it is doable. I will explain in a bit. Of course, the financing that was talked about, and then in our field, that is livestock. Some of the challenges that are very personal to us that we have experienced has been, one of them has been having to lower mortality rates of our animals. You know, we are breeding now. When we started, it was purely sourcing. So it was animals from different farms, different farmers, different practices and different backgrounds and all that. Now we have stock that we have reserved that is purely breeding, and we're looking at ourselves 5 years from now. We shall not be sourcing any animals. All the animals that you shall get from us shall be purely bred by us. So what we faced as a challenge was managing the disease load. Because most people, we still have a lot of work to do. Actually, even those of us that are in town do not vaccinate animals. We do not understand what the common diseases are. We do not understand what the symptoms are. We cannot tell when an animal is sick. And that is a huge challenge. So sometimes we bring in animals and we have not done anything ourselves because they're looking okay, they're looking healthy. We supply, and then in a week or so you get feedback that 50% of the animals that you supplied are actually died. It is saddening on our end because we are not in it just for the money. We also want to see our animals grow out there. We want to see people create wealth from what we give them. So that is what was a challenge for us. 3 years ago, I should say, 3 years ago, we brought on the farm a truckload of 300 goats. And in 2 months, we have lost 125 of them. Every single day we had animals, we had more than 2 animals that were dying. It was very devastating. But then it was in our learning stage. We had just scaled up. We did not know what to do. The farm was new. So we needed to now learn management on the ground at that point. So that is something I'm actually very proud to say we have managed, we have overcome, because we have understood what the dynamics are. We now know what exactly is supposed to be done the moment that the animals come in, except where we have, a difficult client. They're always difficult clients, right? We also have a number of them, and they decide that they do not want to follow the procedure. But in most cases, we demand that things are done our way, because we are trying to safeguard these animals, and we are also trying to maintain a good reputation amongst our clients. So the other challenge that is faced, particularly in livestock, is the issue of human resource. It is very difficult to find people to work with that understand animal management, or that can actually learn even when you teach them. Because you'll be teaching, but you know, and for us, for me particularly, I should say, I spend most of my time in Namwala, because that is where our breeding stock is, that is where the sourcing also is happening. So I'm mainly on that end, because I need to make sure that things are going on well, that I am here. So when your workers are not reliable, that becomes a challenge. But again, we have scored very well in that area. We have managed to maintain the same workers. We have managed to train them. We have managed to keep them motivated by offering good accommodation and just offering them very good salaries. Our workers get paid well. It will take you quite a lot to steal my workers, I promise you. So those are some of the challenges that we faced as a farm.
Just to add on, this is, as women, right? You are a wife, you are a mother, you are a business person, you are a worker, especially if you've got a job, right? But there's just something that God did with us that is unique compared to the men. And this one I usually, I usually say proudly. Because as a woman, you can be sweeping, at the same time, beans is on the stove, at the same time you're doing this, at the same time you're doing that. Have you noticed that as long as we are at home, the baby would have bathed. As the baby is bathing, the Shima is cooking there, you are doing this, you are doing that. You are able to multitask. Amen. I think that is a good quality we should thank God for. Let's give him a round of applause. So, the challenges as women is what I want to add on. The challenges as women, apart from this, these are just like household challenges. When you go out there in the business sector, one, the fact that you're a woman already makes you vulnerable. People will not give you a contract. Sometimes that is normal. It happens, right? True or false? That is a challenge. Others will say women with sex, so she'll not be able to deliver because she's a woman, right? That's another challenge that we have. The other thing is assets. Some of us assets just started having them now. Most of the assets, you find that they are even in our husbands. They are our husbands' assets. So even if you have a business, you go to a bank, you want to get a loan, which asset are you going to present to the bank? You can't present your husband's assets, isn't it? Another challenge. So now, the other thing is, among the challenges that we face, there's also something that causes us to dysfunction as women, which is the stress. Remember, you're home, you're going through stress. You're going to the business sector, you're going stress. At the end of the day, you need stress management, isn't it? Another disadvantage, because we have issues of hormones, which is very normal and something actually look at because it affects our decision making somehow, somewhere, if we are stressed. But here's one thing that I always say, despite all these challenges that we face as women in our homes, out there, in our work, in the business sector, what matters is your hunger. How hungry are you for what you want to do? How hungry are you for that land that you want to plant, that crop? How hungry are you for that product that you want to start producing? How hungry are you for your brand to be known? It's the hunger. That hunger will bring about your purpose. And when you have that purpose, none of these challenges that we've talked about is going to limit you. That's all I want to add.
For this one, I'll have to stand up because it's something which is very close to my heart. As women, our number one challenge that we have is that we don't believe in ourselves. And we want other people to tell us what to do and what we should not do. The other thing is that we love being in a comfort zone. I was in a comfort zone as a civil servant. I could do my civil service work quickly, dash to my side hustle, do one or two things, I go back to work, lunchtime I'll be there, and then I would tell people, but this, no, you are a lawyer, you put on suits, lawyers taken to be there, yeah, they're there. And then 28 December 2023, I was transferred from Lusaka to Livingston. That was not a zone I was expecting. And I said, so how am I going to leave my business? It instantly shut me down. And now I started to think, so I have to choose this, I have to choose that. How am I going to do it? And I decided to say, okay, fine. First, I took local leave. Local leave, I took vacation leave. Vacation leave, I said, I'll go for unpaid leave. And here I am today, I've pivoted, not regretting the decision that I took. And also, we like other people to tell us what to do, okay? I know there are some here who've been wanting to do farming for the longest time. It's at the back of my mind, but they can't do it because someone said, cabbage, there's no market. You done a market research yourself, okay? And then the other thing that also always bothers me, I shared with some people over lunch. Whenever I'm passing through the markets, it's a good thing though, but I feel like we need to think outside the box. We like when my neighbor is doing this, I do that. My neighbor is doing this, I do that. It has now become common on Saturday. It's street market. You find nice vehicle, Hiluxes, Ford, packed cabbages, onions, packed there, people are selling. It's a good thing, okay. But if you can afford that vehicle, why are you producing green fields? Don't you think you can start doing tomato juice, tomato purees, okay? I'm sure all of us in our homes will do tomato purees. The first industry is our kitchens. Even me, the first seed I produced, I packaged it in my kitchen. Okay, let's learn to think outside the box. We are here complaining about market sector. Why don't we become the markets ourselves? Why don't you go and buy that tomatoes from those markets and come and add value? Process it with a blender, put vinegar, add some garlic, package it properly, put it in the fridge, take to your office, sell to anyone. Hey, I made this at home. Can you try it? Is it nice? Let's be proactive. Let's be proactive and think outside the box. If there is anything that I always tell people is, agriculture is the future, because all of us here, we want to eat twice, 3 times, even 4 times a day. Where do we think that food is going to come from? The field. Sometimes it's not always the raw material. Sometimes we need to add value. So let's start thinking from progressively from these raw materials to adding values to doing. I recently, some time back, I visited Nigeria, and something very interesting captured my mind. These lovely women put together, they put up like a processing center of excellency, where they got some certification from different countries, what is required for export. So you get these other small businesses come to do their processing from that entity, and then they put the certification there, and then this is how you get Nigerians exporting a lot of their food in UK, in America, and that's why they have their own restaurants there, using their own products. These are some of the ideas that we can take up. As we go back home, let's think of something different that we can do to add value and to improve our lives as women. Thank you.
Now, to the women that are listening, I believe you have gotten something. You know what I'm going to do today? Since my business is still in the kitchen, hello, manufacturers still in the kitchen, are we here? Manufacturers in the kitchen. You know what I'm going to do after listening to these amazing women speak today? I am going to write at the entrance of my kitchen, the herb dye factory. Amen. All of us in business, let's just put our kitchens are officially factories. Can we give the women here a round of applause? As we come to the end of our day, we will open up to about 3 questions. 3 questions to any of the women on the panel, and we could get wrapped up with our day. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. All right, the lady right in this row, please stand. The next person that will ask a question, we have the lady right in this row. Please stand up, madam. And lastly, from one of our exhibitors, yes, please stand up. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Brenda Nakolo Soka. I am a court interpreter and a farmer. My question goes to chili growing. I've been one of the farmers that have been hiding instead of coming out in the open to do the farming. I've been inspired by chili, so where do we get you? Chili seedlings so that we can start. So the farm is happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out. Welcome. I am humbled that you're inspired. So for Namoye, we do outgrow initiative where, like yourself, you have come out to say you're willing to grow. We'll give you the seed just at a little cost. At first we used to give it for free, but then we realized that if we give the farmers the seed for free, they grow it, then take it to someone. Sometimes they'll sell it to other people. But it's really up to you. This is what I always say. It's really up to you. We have farmers on board right now who are growing Kamurushi, Kawe, Ndola, Mumbwa. Mumbwa is actually one of our very, very active places. We have we are dealing with a cooperative there that we supplying us the chili. We are specialized in cayenne paper, so we can chat after this. I actually brought some, but I don't know if we still have. We can chat, we can always communicate and find ways of how we can conclude. And this is the right time. Quickly, the necessary rain season, especially if you don't have water irrigation, in 3 months to 4 months, you start harvesting. We should be communicating, share with you how you do the drying, because we use dry chilies. We use the dry cayenne paper, and and basically for those that also have cayenne already at your farm or anything, let's chat. It's one of the major reasons that we came, is because we also looking that we could network with, because we're trying to strengthen our supply chain, because our demand is doing fine, but we want to fix the weaknesses on the supply, because because most of the outgrowers currently are relying on red thread. But then after the red season, you go to talk if you don't find out what it is. We can't answer you at it's the red season, so it has to continue, production continues. So yes, you're very much welcome. No? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Scholastica Banda. My question is for Fanny, Livestock Sanctuary. We started our livestock farming, I think almost 5 years ago. We are into big production. So I think I've learned a lot from what you have just shared. For those of us who are interested into maybe goats and I don't know whether you spoke about cows, are you able to offer any training services or any guidance that we can learn from you? Do you also allow upcoming farmers maybe to visit your farm just to learn one or two things? Thank you.
We are building a system that allows even just the general public to benefit from what we are doing. That means you can access trainings, you can access materials. You are absolutely welcome to visit the farm, to appreciate what we are doing. And we are also available for goats, cattle, or sheep purchases. I'll say this, I did mention that when we started, we required that you make a payment because that is the money that we need to buy the animals. That is not the situation anymore, that is not the case anymore. We have our own money. But the business systems have been formed in such a way that because of the numbers that we are dealing with and the commitments of the caliber of our clientele, we only take on orders that are fully paid for. So if you are looking for animals, you're looking for goats, you're looking for cattle, you're looking for sheep, we'll be able to, we'll be able to advise you what our delivery period is depending on how many orders are there ahead of you, and we only consider that order valid when it has been paid for in full. So do get in touch with us, we'll be able to support you, we'll give you the knowledge first of all, because we know that there are many people intending to get into the business, but they don't know the technicalities, they don't know how to go about it. So if you're looking for knowledge, we'll give you the knowledge. We now offer consultation, which is at a very minimal fee. We also do farm visits to those of you that are already practicing, like Yuma, we may do pigs, but we can advise on the many other animals that we deal in. And for those of you that are doing goats, somebody approached me and said, no, I've been at 14 goats for the past 5 years. It's impossible. You know, there's a problem somewhere. So we help you get to the root of that problem, and if it's a management issue, we'll be able to come on board. If it's vaccinations, treatment, or any of those services that you need, our manager is doing a wonderful job with that, Mr. Fred Solochi. He goes around the farms to visit our already existing clients and our new clients on board to ensure that you are recording and you're scoring successes. We are also documenting what you are doing. So your success is our success. We are offering you the information so that you can succeed and that we may also be glad that you are doing well, especially because you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nancy Lupinga, and my question is split between the UNNS farmer as well as the CEO for Kagezi. So to begin with, you did mention that you're in full-time employment, and I do understand some of the hurdles that come with being in full-time employment and running a successful business. So from the talk, among your colleagues, sometimes maybe if you don't show up, someone will think it's because you're focusing on your business. So how are you able to navigate those two worlds, and how do you just carry on to manage your business without allowing weigh you down. And for the CEO for Kagezi, I'm very much motivated by the stance that you took to take care of your business. One thing that I'd like to find out is that at what point exactly did you make that decision to say, you know what, I think I need to now take all my energy into building my own brand, because I think there are a lot of uncertainties. Will it happen? I'm not going to get my salary. I'm not going to do this. But then at what point do you get that conviction to say whether it works out or not? This is a chance that I'm going to take. Because I think for some of us, those are the areas where we're still struggling. You know, you have a good product going on, you have a good brand that should definitely build up. But then there's just that fear of stepping out of that comfort zone and just getting right into it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you for that question. So like I earlier mentioned, I'm a nurse, a farmer, a mother, a wife. And juggling between all the four is not been easy, this I can say, okay? Because like she earlier mentioned, finally being a parent and having to go for work, having to go to the farm, you're not always there for your children. I'm a mother of two, by the way. So it's not been easy. But what I can say is my job also being a nurse has been a plus for me, because I don't work a 7 to 7 shift. I work 6 hour shifts. So I utilize that. If I'm doing a morning shift, I knock off at 13 hours, I'll go to the farm. See what's happening, okay? I always try to make time for my kids as much as I can. In the evening with your homework, I try. On days that I'm not working, sometimes we carry the kids to the farm. As we are harvesting, they are there with us, playing. My daughter loves to even carry some of the harvest, take to where we are processing. That is part of how I've managed to spend time with the kids. I also have a supportive partner. When I'm not able to be at the farm, he steps in and he helps. So with all these challenges, talking of the workplace, yes, of course, you know, there will be those challenges, talking in the workspace, you know, we will be farmers, so stuff you know, things like that. Sometimes you are pressed and you ask a friend to cover you because you have a deadline to meet a client once something that you have grown and you need to harvest. It's not been easy, but I managed to juggle. The passion overrides all the challenges. I hope I've answered.
Thank you so much for the question. At what point did I make the decision to just leave and concentrate on my business? I had a burnout. I remember crying to my husband and told him I'm stopping work. Okay, because I did report to Livingston and came back, and thinking of how I'm going to be tripping going and coming back, I couldn't fathom it. I tried to talk to my father and mother, who've been in the civil service for all their life, and they believe in a salary. When I told them I was considering to stop, it was war. And even after I stopped, after a year that I stopped. And okay, my mother, you know, as maybe have got some intuitions. She would come in the morning, so have you come for work? How is it going? I'm like, yeah, I'm at work. But from her questions, I could tell that she suspected something. So I was burnt out. I was stressed. My hormones were raising so much, and I said, I'm not going to die. So I sat down with my husband and we came to an understanding to say, okay, what used to be my salary anyway, I used to take it into the seed company, okay? So I think the seed company is somehow stable. We can figure things out. But before I could get a salary from the seed company, you need to help me cover some of the expenses that I needed to take care of. So we had to sit down and do the math and see how we're going to manage. At the beginning, it was tough, but we started moving on and on. And I think we are reaching somewhere. Yeah, so you reach a stage where you can't just do it. And also because there's peer pressure from outside as well. These people who are telling you this, these are telling you this, but at the end of it all, it's you as an individual who can feel it. You feel the burnout. And that's when I made the decision. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, those who are civil servants, public microservice finance really played a huge role in me being where I am today. I used to get loans, I would get fertilizer, 400 bags, I would get inputs and everything else. So please make use of that facility. Thank you.
All right, we can give a better round of applause. Unfortunately, because of time, we need to carry on with our program. I want to say thank you to you, the amazing women on this panel, for sharing your story. I have to share, I just add on with what Marina ended with. When you spoke about burnout, because with a lonely farm, being overworked,